All right, guys, welcome back to 218 Racing. Got another video for you guys today. Going to be taking apart the Yfz. It needs new Swingarm bearings. So this is going to be a full video of me just taking this thing apart. I do not have the bearings kit yet. I did get that ordered through my local dealership up at Throat Point. Those guys hooked me up with a all balls bearing kit. So that will be here within either today or tomorrow. I don't have time to pick it up today because I'm taking it apart. I was gonna take it apart this weekend or this past weekend, but didn't get to. Ended up insulating the whole shop, as you can see. Still got some more pieces and parts to go. I have a leak still right here in this gap that I have to fix. And then I have this slot above me, above the camera that you can't really see, that needs done. And then the slot over there by the door needs done as well. But yeah, so that went well. Me and my buddy Gavin knocked that out, so that was pretty sweet. But yeah, without further ado, this video is mainly going to be bits and parts. I'm going to explain a few things and whatnot, and I'm going to show you the tools that you'll need for the most part. I don't think I got all the tools done, but either way, I'll show you a majority of them that you'll need. And then so yeah, and then I'll be a little bit of time lapse in this video and just certain mix and match things but I'll just put it all together and it should work out. Haven't done a video in a minute, at least in the shop, and I think the last video I did in the shop was my oil changer video. So if you haven't checked that out, I'll probably link that in the description. You can go check that out if you want. But yeah, here I'll show you guys the bike. Quad, she's looking good. Got her fully cleaned and ready to go to get it fixed up. Got a few things I want to do to her still. Going to be taking these bars off, getting flex bars, Hauser plus zero stem, precision steering stabilizer, front bead locks, and then yeah, I think that's about it for now. Just got the Vortex tuner in, and that is down there, as you can see. So just got that back from TDR. Shout out to Tim Detling to getting that done, and great guy, great team out there. First time ever going out there. Had no idea what I was getting into, and they got it done. And he sent it out to a guy named Max Gogol. I'm sure many of the top racing guys know who he is. He builds racing harnesses, a ton of more stuff. He's more of like, I think, kind of the electrical guy of that everybody kind of knows. But he put a new plug in, a new tuning plug in for my Vortex tuner. My old tuning plug was completely jammed and was not able to fit in. It was like, I'm sure as you guys know, have to be very precise in fitting in to the other female connector, for the male to female connector to tune it. So it's a little cold in the shop. So it's yeah, so a little cold in the shop, but I do have it heated. But some certain areas it's colder than others, but it is what it is. That's why we're starting to work on the insulation. As you can see, that is the other part of that I have not finished yet, but it will get finished eventually. But anyway, so yeah, back to this. Going to be taking the swing arm off, taking the tires off, taking the chain off, all that stuff. So like I said, most of that stuff will be probably in time lapse, which. And I won't, like I said, I'll explain things, get all that done, but for the most part, I know you guys can see the bike. My tripod is kind of jacked up at the moment. But yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to show you guys the tools that you'll need. To start off, just for the wheels, I just use a big breaker bar, 1/4 inch, 14-inch socket, or not 14-inch, 14mm socket. So start off with that, and then I take, and then you'll need a 1/4 inch ratchet, 8mm. If you have a DRW rotor guard like I do, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but it's still an easy system once you get used to it. You will need a 8mm Allen socket and a 6mm Allen socket. There's two 8mm bolts, and there's four 6mm. I think there's 4. Hold on. Yeah, 4. So then that'll be for those. So I'll list it over here. And then you will need a 8mm, I'm just using all long sockets, that's normally what I use. 8mm long socket for the brake line hose and brackets to take off the swing arm to get all that off. And then to take off your sprocket, you will need a 14-inch, or I keep saying 14-inch, 14mm socket. Probably gonna get ripped up for that, but whatever. 14mm socket. I'll just blame it on school. School sucks anyway, so I'm glad I'm out here and working on this thing. And then for the nut to get off for the swing arm bolt, that is, I believe, either a 22 or 23 big socket. So it is a 22, and that's only one of, you only need one of those. And then I'll need a breaker bar with a bigger breaker bar for that, to get that off. So yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna get into it, get this video knocked out, and get this bike tore apart and ready to get done. And I can't wait to race next season. I only raced 3 races this year, but I'm excited to have a full upcoming season. Wanted to get some more riding time underneath my belt this summer, so that's why I didn't really race. And I didn't really know like where to start with racing, even though I have like people that I know who race. But yeah, so I just wanted some time under my belt, and then I just did 3 races at the end of the year. Did all right. Most of my finishes were all right. I DNF'd on the one, my second race of this year. I DNF'd, and then my other 2 I finished, first and last one. My last one did a lot better than the first 2, so. But yeah, either way, still got a lot of experimenting to do, and a lot of testing, and just really getting the bike dialed in and myself. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm really gonna go all the way. So see how we go. I'll probably be doing mainly CRA, so it's more amateur stuff, but a lot of great racers out there and a lot of good experience, and just really that's all I'm looking for. So, and obviously having a great time out there, so without destroying my bike or my body. So as most of you guys know. So yeah, we're gonna get this bike ready to go, and I'm gonna put you guys on time lapse. All right, one thing I forgot to mention is that you guys are going to need a 18mm long socket or short socket, and then a 18mm wrench for your, as the tools for your shock. So that would be your shock linkage, which is right down there. So that's where that's gonna be. I'm gonna put you guys back on time lapse, get that done, and then we should be set for that. It should drop, and then should be good to go. I actually also got to take off my sprocket guard, so I'll take that off too, and that'll all be in the time lapse. So probably do sprocket guard first, and then the linkage, so I can get the chain off, and then we'll be set from there. So got the sprocket guard and rotor guard off, and the sprocket off. Chain is off now. Well, it's still on there, but when I take that off, it'll come off with it. So got all that off. We're good with that. Here is the DRW rotor guard. It's a great guard. It's kind of annoying with all the bolts, but like I said, once you get used to it, it's pretty simple and straightforward. I hated taking it off when I first got it, but yeah, like I said, I just got used to it, and then I just didn't feel like changing it because I already spent the money on it. So at 17, 16 years old, that's what you got to do. So yep, got that off, got all that off. I may end up taking my rotor off too, probably. And then, yeah, and then we are off to taking off the rear linkage and the sprocket and the shock. So yeah, almost done. And then we will pop it on the vise, have it sit there, and we will start knocking out the bearings and cleaning it out and getting all that stuff done. I'm really curious. I took this apart not too long ago. Not all of it, but I took the tires off and greased I don't have grease certs on my swing arm, so I can grease up my swing arm bolt. Don't have, or the bearings. So in that case, I'm going to have to re-grease it and all that stuff. And then I'm probably gonna end up, I don't know about tonight because I don't have the grease certs or anything like that for it, but I probably am going to end up putting grease certs in it, and that's what was recommended to me by one of my buddies who races. So he said that's what he did. He has, you know, I think he has an aftermarket one, but when he or aftermarket swing arm, but when he had a stock one, because this is like 1.25 inches in or something like that. So when he got that done, before he even had one, like a aftermarket one, because most of the aftermarket ones come with a greasable cert on it in those spots, he just popped it in. It's very simple and straightforward. So I think I'm going to do that. I think it'll be easier. Definitely will help a lot, and I won't have to worry about taking my tires off and all that off, and just grease my swing arm bolt to make it last longer. So without further ado, we're gonna get back to it. I'm gonna get on the rear linkage and the shock, and we're gonna knock this out. Okay, so that took way longer than it needed to. This single bolt took me about a half an hour to get out. I knew I was making it harder on myself than I needed to, which is what you tend to do sometimes. But I finally got it out, and this is the bolt of one of the 3 triangle parts on the swing arm attachment. This is the bolt that attaches to the swing arm from the linkage. So this one's completely messed up. Look at this. Look at that. That's awful. It's like slanted and everything. So gotta get a new one of these. Shouldn't be too much. I'm not really worried about it. I'm not riding anytime soon. I just want to get this fixed and done. That way the next time I am available to go to ride or practice or whatever else, racing season is completely over. So this weekend's like the last weekend, I think, for CRA. GNCC is obviously over, so I'm not worried about it. I'm tossing in the towel. So next on the kind of agenda is just to get that swing arm bolt out. I guess I can put that in the video and put this in this video here. But for the most part, I do have it pretty much completely tore apart. So that was just today's main objective, and get it done, which I'm happy about. And so lesson learned though. Always grease your stuff about every other ride. One of my buddies that races, he's like, oh yeah, I always keep this thing up to maintenance, but those were the last things that I've like thought about. But now I know, and now I'm going to be greasing this about every other week or so to make it easier, even if I don't want to, but it's something to give me something to do, so why should I complain? But other than that, yeah, I'm gonna do this last part, get this bolt out, and then we should be good. And then I should be able to take this swing arm off and throw her in the vise. So hopefully my vise opens up more than what I need to, or more the way I think it's going to. But All right, well, let's throw this into the time lapse and get this done. And that way I can just be done with it and finally have it apart, ready to go. And then tomorrow, if I'm not doing anything, I'll probably take the bearings out and maybe continue this video. I don't know. Yeah, I probably should. Why not? All right, well, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hit the time lapse and get this shit done. All right, she's off. I have her in the vise, and the YFZ is a swing armless bike. Here is the swing arm. Not too bad. The swing arm I actually have greased before multiple times, so that wasn't a biggie. That was no problem at all. Yeah, so she's off. She's good. She's ready to get worked on. Oh shoot. Yeah, so might have to get a new chain guard because that one is completely destroyed. Here, I'll show you guys. Look at this thing. Yeah, she's got some hard hours on her, I'd say. Yikes, that's not good. Didn't notice that the last time I took it off. So anyway, so yeah, now all there is left is just to slap the bearings back in her. I do have to order a new bolt. I believe I showed you guys in the last clip. So yeah, all there is just take all this stuff out, heat it up. It might be a little bit of a pain, but I do have bearing pushers and, you know, whole bearing kits, so should be able to get it out without any issue. If I make it, if it's an issue, I made it harder on myself than anything. But the YFZ is now getting completely almost a brand new rear end. I had to put a new carrier in her. I believe, I want to say beginning of June. I think I put a new one on. Maybe even before that. But anyway, new carrier. That's why I have new swing arm bearings, which those are get a lot of wear and tear on them. So there's no excuse for them not to be worn. This bike. This is my only bike right now, so it literally goes through all my practicing, like everything, obviously. I don't ride like dirt bikes or anything else. May get a dirt bike soon, but I really want to get another practice bike since I'm more of a quad guy, not really much of a dirt bike guy. I will say I'm not very good on dirt bikes, so pit bikes, I'm all right, but that's about it. But anyway, so that's about concludes today's video. Like I said, next video will be me putting the bearings in, probably a little bit of time lapsing. I know the time lapsing is kind of boring, but hopefully you guys can get the gist of what I'm doing and the camera quality is good and all that. I'll make sure that's all good. But all in all, yep, I'm glad I got that thing off. I've been wanting to do that before my second to last race. No, since my last race, I wanted to do that. So which was about 3 weeks ago, and then I did one ride on it at Bear Creek, and then that was it. So and then my race and then that ride. So like I said, she's got some hard hours on her. I can't make any excuses up on as to why they would be blown out. It's just, that's what happens. If you own a YFZ, I'm sure you've replaced them. If not, you will soon. So hopefully my demonstration on putting these bearings in should not be too hard. Hopefully I can get them out and no problem, and show you guys everything, the right steps and stuff like that. As to what I would do, if you don't have a bearing press kit, I would get one. Very useful tool. I use that thing all the time. Me and my dad, when we flip bikes all the time, countless times we had to do bearings, like all the time. So in wheel bearings and stuff, makes it 10 times easier. Heat it up, make sure it's all, you know, WD-40, PB Blast, or whatever, you know, some lubricant to get that moving freely and eat at all the, you know, stuff that's in there, which is what I had to do earlier to get that bolt out, and I ended up destroying that bolt. Sometimes that will happen. I mean, if you're less experienced or more experienced, hopefully that, you know, you're just maybe watching this video to get some tips or something, which is all I want for people, you know, for all the viewers out there. So, but yeah, I would highly recommend getting a bearing kit. You get them on Amazon, anything. That's where I got mine. It was like 115 bucks, I think. So, but anyway, yep, that's the end of today's video. I'll link everything that I used in this tools wise, all the way to maybe even the bearing kit. I'll put the link in there in the description. But thanks for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoy this little mini series. And it should all be pretty good, and hopefully we can get this old girl back to barking again up hills and stuff. So I can't wait. Thanks guys for tuning in. See ya.